What's good, Vision Gang? You already know what it is. This is your boy DaVizion, and I'm back again with another MMA reaction. Y'all, UFC 298 has come and gone, and it was a very good pay-per-view. Like, I only got a couple under my belt, y'all, but I enjoyed every single fight on the main card. It was like totally different from UFC 297, where really only the main event was that interesting. UFC 298, total different story. Like, every single fight on the main card was good. Even the fighters like I haven't even heard about. The Hernandez versus Kopylov, that fight was dope. The Kopylov dude got hands. Like, he really had some torque on his punches. But that Hernandez dude, his wrestling just overcame, and he ended up tapping the Kopylov dude out. That was a really good fight. I'm looking forward to seeing the future of both of them. Kopylov especially, I think if he doesn't get caught in that submission and he's able to stand up and strike the whole fight, he wins that fight, because he was tearing up, what's his name, with the hands pretty significantly. Now, the next fight, I think that was Cejudo and Merab. Cejudo did really well in the first round, but Merab dominated round 2 and 3. Even showboated on Cejudo a lot, and I think Cejudo retired, y'all. Let me know down below if that's true, but I think Cejudo is retiring. I'm definitely about to react to Cejudo in the future. MMA legend. I definitely want to learn more about him and what made him a legend, because he didn't look like a legend in rounds 2 and 3 of this fight, honestly, and it was kind of sad for him to go out that way, but life happens. Big shout out to Cejudo. Merab, big win for him. In the next fight, Jeff Neal and Ian Gary, y'all. Ian Gary is very tall and long, and that knee was definitely causing Jeff Neal a lot of problems. Jeff Neal, whenever he was boxing, whenever he was throwing them hands, he was definitely getting some damage in. But at the end, Ian Gary's link was just too much for Jeff Neal to handle, I feel like, and Jeff Neal just didn't do enough to get the victory. So big shout out to Ian Gary, big win for him. In the next fight, Paulo Costa and Whitaker, y'all. Whitaker definitely did his thing. I thought Costa won the first round. Personally, I was really shocked it was 30-27 all 3 rounds. Whitaker definitely did his thing, was consistent the whole time. A lot of body and leg shots. He didn't really do a lot of like visual damage to Costa compared to what Costa did to him, but I think it was just the number of strikes, significant strikes versus Costa's. Even though Costa's, I think, were harder hits that made more impact. Whitaker was just more consistent throughout the fight. Whitaker won by decision, so that was a dope fight as well. That was a really good fight. And then we got the main event, y'all. Volk versus Ilia, and Ilia came and delivered. He said he was gonna knock him out in the first round, but he did it in the second round, y'all. That was pretty dope. Ilia is the new featherweight champion. Has a lot of power, and I've been reading up on in a lot of people's opinions. It's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna fall to Ilia before Ilia loses that belt. Let me know down below what you guys felt about that. But UFC 298 was dope. Now it's time for MMA On Point to tell us what they think about Ilia Topuria. Apparently, they think he's the scariest fighter they've ever seen at 145. And that's the name of the video. Ilia Topuria is the scariest fighter they've ever seen at 145. We're going to check that out. Big shout out to MMA On Point. If you guys haven't already done so, you guys subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell to be first to see the videos. And make sure you guys smash that like button to send this video to the moon, y'all. And let's go ahead and get this video started.
Oh dear MMA Lord, what happened last night? I'm seriously still trying to process what happened in that main event. Was this my fault for that Age of Decline video? No, this was just us seeing the rise of an absolute terror at featherweight. Volk looked fantastic until he was completely out cold. We're dealing with a different beast here, I think. Let's try to process this all together, shall we? I'm Tommy from MMA On Point. A massive thank you to our channel Hall of Famers. And Ilia Topuria is the scariest fighter we've ever seen at 145.
Let's find out why, y'all. Ilia got them hands
Before
on
we
him.
dive into those terrifying waters, though, we got to make sure
Let's
we're
find
all
out
on
why
the
he's
same
scary.
page here.
There's been a lot of guys with hands, so why is his hands so much
As we
different?
mentioned, Ilia Topuria KO'd Alex Volkanovski in the second round to become the new featherweight champion. Although that sentence doesn't really do this justice. Robert Whittaker defeated Paulo Costa via unanimous decision in a brutal instant classic.
Really good fight.
Ian Machado Gary took a split decision win from Jeff Neal in a tense snoozer, if such a thing is possible. Merab Dvalishvili earned a UD victory over Henry Cejudo while talking to Mark Zuckerberg. And to kick off the main card, Fluffy Hernandez scored a second-round rear-naked choke submission victory over Roman Kopylov. The prelims had some really enjoyable fights and a few standout performances. Would definitely recommend going through them if you started watching the card late. Alright, so we're all good on how this thing played out? Let's run the numbers then, shall we? The 10th UFC trip to Anaheim saw 12 fights with 4 KO, TKOs, 1 sub, and 7 decisions, for a total cage time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 8 seconds. The only underdog that won on tonight's card was the new champion, Ilia Topuria. A round 2 KO for the Matador was plus 1100, the best money you could get on a night where favorites did what they're supposed to do. Sick of the Conor comparisons yet with the new champ? Well, Topuria and the Notorious both won the featherweight title in their 7th UFC bout. Both defeated champions with 5 or more successful defenses via knockout. Both had 4 finishes and a decision win in the lead up to their title challenge. Both earned bonuses in the 3 fights leading up to their title challenge. Both were 27 years of age, and both have tattoos of animals on their chest. They're basically the same person, you guys. Bobby Nuss has averaged 74 significant strikes landed in every single 3-round decision he's ever won. Tonight he had 70, earning him our Mr. Consistency Award. That was the lowest output Gary has had in any UFC bout that's gone the distance with 148 strikes thrown, but it still got him his 14th straight victory since 2019. Merab outstruck Triple C 2-1. That's never been done by anybody in his career in any fight but the half-round loss to DJ back in 2016, and the Machine is now only the 3rd person ever to take Cejudo down. Fluffy's rear naked choke marks his 4th UFC submission win, and for walking out to Conte Partiro, he's earned our Prestige Worldwide Award. But the stats really don't do justice to what happened tonight, so let's talk about what really happened.
Let's break it down,
so
y'all.
I promise this is the end of the Conor comparisons, and earlier I was just having a bit of fun, since that was one of the narratives of Fight Week, but that was without a doubt one of the most shocking ways a champion has ever been defeated, short of Conor's KO on Aldo. I mean, Alex was looking sharp.
He was looking so good in the first round.
Brain tier violence chess. Both guys were putting in the work. It looked like we were headed for a 5-round classic, and then in an instant, the Matador vaporized one of the greatest UFC champions of all time. And I know you could say, well, he had just got KO'd not that long ago by Islam. He's 35, and we talked about that steep decline that takes place around that age. And yes, those things are, of course, true. And as a huge Volk fan, I'm saying this to myself to cope. But that really doesn't do justice to how scary Ilia Topuria is in the cage. He has one touch and it's overpower. He has some of the best technical striking in the division on top of it, a 92% takedown defense rate, and unlike Conor, as we have made so many comparisons to tonight, Topuria might be just as much of a threat if the fight hits the ground as he is on the feet.
So he
is a terrifying presence in the cage.
Reaction I did on him, he can wrestle too.
The title was clearly no mistake. When you scan the rest of the division, there's really nobody you can look at as his potential kryptonite, which isn't to say that the man can't lose. Of course he can. We've seen this time and time again in mixed martial arts. Never crown anybody unbeatable, you will always be proven wrong. But when you're this technical, this smart, this polished, and on top of it you can end fights instantly, you just have so many outs, so many ways you can end up winning the fight. He doesn't even need to be doing well, which most of the time he will be. He's just got to hit that one shot. He just needs one opening. I'm not saying this is the Machida era just yet, but Topuria has the potential to be a long-term champion. That is, if he, fights the contenders in the division. Ilia rubbed me the wrong way this week with all the talk about the rest of the top guys at featherweight being old news, and how he wants to fight Conor, and how they're going to do it in the stadium, and look, I get it entirely, of course. This is a business, and this man wants to make life-changing money. He wants to be a big star. The blueprint has been sitting there since 2015. Ilia is not the first fighter to want to go the McGregor route the second he sniffed out some gold. But the reality is there is no other Conor.
Get a win over Conor, make that money.
Lightning in a bottle, you cannot replicate it. We've made all these comparisons between the two of them, but the one thing that was definitely different was that by the time McGregor beat Aldo, he was clearly the biggest star the sport had ever seen. And that is not the case with Ilia, which isn't to say he's not going to be popular. Anybody that fights like that is going to be popular. But man, I would really love to see him and other champions, defend their titles against the contenders in their division. I can't believe that's such a hard ask these days. Like, Topuria Topuria versus Max or Yair or Ortega, all of that sounds like a blast. Sign me up. And yeah, sure, eventually I would love to see him mix it up with the best at lightweight as well. But I would also love to see him defending that title because that's the way you build a legacy in this sport more than anything. And if you really want a big red panty night, you can either pretend you're Conor or get it by being one of the best ever. Kids these days, you know? Alright, I've hopped off my soapbox. That's enough about the new terrifying champ. Let's wrap up our discussion of all things 298 because other things did in fact happen. Some brief thoughts on Volk. He looked great out there. There's no reason to believe he can't compete with the best at the highest level.
Facts.
So if he wants
he
to
should
keep
get
going,
a
I wouldn't
rematch
have any
immediately.
issue with it
like.
at all. But obviously, if he called it a career tomorrow, he is a Hall of Famer already. What a massive and impressive victory for the former champ Bob Reaper. Just when you think that maybe he's reached his downward trajectory, he pops right back up. That win puts Whitaker firmly back in the title chase. Obviously, that division is a bit messy right now. I'm sure the UFC is going to want to do Izzy next for DDP. I could maybe see them pairing Robert with Sean Strickland, or maybe he will end up next in line after the next guy. It's hard to say, but the one thing that is clear is that Robert Whitaker is not going anywhere. It was a bad night for both Ian Machado Gary haters, as Joe Rogan called them, and his fans, to be honest, at least in the entertainment department. That was not the best fight to watch. I know these things happen in MMA. I mean, both guys are dangerous as hell. But yeah, for as tense as that bout was because of their abilities, it was also very uneventful. But Gary seemed entirely unfazed by the boos. He's now 14-0. He's rising up the ranks at a pace that makes sense, and all this negative talk about him has only served to raise his profile. Look how many times they cut to his wife during the broadcast. They're playing right into the negativity because they know it generates views. And finally, Merab. I mean, the dude's resume is insane. His 10-fight win streak in the UFC now capped off with freaking Henry
basically
Cejudo.
dog-walked
If you can
Henry
look at the resume
in the
of the
second and
champ
third
and
round.
argue that a guy who is not the champ, who hasn't had a title shot yet, has had a more impressive career, it's time for a damn title fight. There's absolutely nothing else to say here, other than, of course, that 298 is in the bag. This one felt like a massive card going in. It ended up being a massive card when it was all said and done, and now we have two juggernauts in front of us with 299 and 300. We are eating well right now, boys. Better enjoy it while it lasts. But now I want to know what you guys think. Is Topuria going to be a fighting champion at 145? Am I right to be as terrified of that man as I am? What would you do with Bobby Knuckles? Tell me what you think of Ian Gary. Say everything you want down in the comments. I always read all of them. I love the discussion that comes with these autopsy videos. A massive shout to the wonderful Max Randall who edited this so quickly after the card. He always does such an amazing job. Follow him on his socials, give him all the praise, and check out his awesome YouTube channel. A huge thank you to our channel Hall of Fame. We couldn't do it without you, and if you would like to be one too, there's a new lower price on that, so hit the join button. There's a bunch of exclusive content. You guys are gonna love it. But no pressure, liking and subscribing is also a great way to show you appreciated the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you in Miami.
Alright, y'all, that was Ilia Topuria. Is the scariest fighter we've ever seen at 145. And big shout out to MMA On Point one more time because yeah, they had this great video right after UFC 298, which really helps me being able to have something to react to, and that I could actually like sort of give my own opinions along as I'm going because I was just watching it as well. So big shout out to them for allowing me to do that. You guys, UFC 299 and 300 is coming up. What fights are you guys looking forward to? I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Sugar Sean O'Malley fight for the first time live. Pereira versus, gosh, what is his name? Yeah, Pereira has a fight. UFC 300 main event. It's going to be Alex Pereira. And I can't think of the dude he's about to go against, but that's going to be a big fight. Oh, also, Wanderlei Silva got into the UFC Hall of Fame. That was dope to see that. Video package they put together for Wanderlei. Big shout out to Vondi. One of my favorite classic fighters. Just brutal, ruthless. Love watching him. You guys, let me know what you guys are excited about though. Down for you, UFC 299 and 300. I know we got the headlining fights, but what other fights? Jamal Hill is the guy I was talking about with Parade. It just popped on, but what other fights besides the headliners are you guys looking forward to? Let me know down below. Try to help me get hyped up for these fights as well, you guys. like always, you guys, if you're enjoying the videos, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell to be first to see the videos. And make sure you guys jab that like button to send this video to the moon, y'all. And be safe. Give it your all in whatever you're doing in life. And I'm going to see you guys next time. I am your boy, DaVizion, and I am out. Peace.